All right, guys. Hey, welcome. So let me go ahead and get this live stream ready. Live. What's up, guys? What's up, KoAloha family and everybody who is in here? Go ahead and leave a comment. Yeah, let us know where you guys are watching from. Grab your ukuleles because today we're gonna talk about the ukulele GPS. All right. So we got some other people still jumping on our Zoom call right now. Now this is a live lesson that is brought to you guys by KoAloha Ukulele for free every single week. And again, you do not have to be an ukulele owner, player, yada yada, whatever, to be able to join. All right, so this is for anyone and everyone. So definitely go ahead and invite jonahdavis.com/ukulele lessons, sign up for the email list, and you will get the weekly updates as well as some other things that we're going and doing here at KoAloha. All right, here's another thing. Paula, aloha Paula from the UK. All right, now here's another thing. Here's the perk. I want to talk about this because this is something I have not mentioned in a while. All right. So as long as you guys are part of our KoAloha lessons on Zoom, if you guys are in the market for a KoAloha, you guys have special perks. As you guys know, KoAloha does not sell direct. All right. But there are ways, aside from coming here and going to the showroom to be able to get one of the direct stuff that's only found here in Hawaii. There are other ways, okay? So definitely shoot us a message and we will take care of you, all right? So as long as you're part of our KoAloha lessons on Zoom Ohana, you have special perks that only you guys have, okay? But definitely, it's all about building a family and having real relationships with all of you guys, which I actually do. We know you guys very well. And you guys have been supporting so much. Yeah. Anyway, back to the topic, ukulele GPS. All right. So I want to share with you guys one of the things that I use to build chords. All right. So everybody knows about first, second, third chordings, right? Positions. Yeah. You hear them talking about these things all the time. So our first response is to go and look at a chord chart to find out the many different ways to make that one chord. Am I right? Right? We become so dependent on a chord chart when all we need to know is a few positions so that we can figure out how to make those chords. Okay? So I'm going to teach you guys one of the ways that I do it. Okay? This is a simple thing that I've learned over the years through trial and experience, and it's allowed me to teach myself how to play multiple instruments. All right. Music is patterns. You guys hear me say this all the time, right? Nothing is new under the sun when it comes to music. Okay. It repeats itself. In reality, there's only 3 types of chords that you need to know. Okay, only 3 types of chords: a major, a minor, and 7. That's all you need to know. Okay, so if you're coming from a music theory background, you might realize that those are the 3 foundational types of chords, right? But how do you make those chords within a certain position? Now, people use terms like shapes, right? I don't use terms like shapes. I use the word position instead because it's a mindset. It's a perspective. It's a way you view what you're doing. So positions change, all right? But shapes do not. It never changes, okay? It never changes. A shape will always stay the same. A triangle will always have certain things that call it a triangle and it'll never change, all right? Only shapes can change. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to get started with what I call the ukulele GPS. Now, if you guys are in my Patreon, you guys automatically have access to the PDF files, right? So if you're my Patreon members, any tier, doesn't matter. You should automatically have access to the PDF files. You can download them for yourselves. You can use them in your everyday playing behavior and practices and habits. All right? Because everything that I teach is based off the simple use of the musical alphabets. Everybody knows the circle of the fifths. There's different ways to use the circle of the fifths, right? It is music theory compact. Anything and everything you need to know is within the circle of the fifths. Most people use it only in chord families. That's not the only use or the main proper use of the circle of the fifths. Yeah, and so some people with a musical background can agree with me on that. That it's not just to build chord families. All right. Okay. So, but mostly everybody knows it only to build chord families, and you don't necessarily need a circle to figure that out. Okay. All right. So, okay. So, for everybody on Facebook, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you guys just came, my name is Jonah Davis, and this is the KoAloha Lessons on Zoom Ohana. Now, when I'm done with this lesson, I am going to put this video and stuff on my Patreon, and I'm also going to upload the notes that I take. Okay, so whatever notes we take here in the actual live Zoom class will be found for reference on my Patreon. Okay, and so for all of you guys who have been supporting my Patreon, thank you guys so much. You guys been have such a huge blessing to me. All right, in supporting my work. So thank you guys, Nui. All right. And here you go. So this is a quick little chart that I had created to help teach the ukulele GPS, or what I like to use as, important, so basically we're going to start off with a basic shape just so you guys can get a feel for what we're doing. Okay, now with this form, okay, now we have the musical alphabets here. Now in most cases you will see the musical alphabets, which is this right here. Let me get my pencil up and running. Normally you'll see mainly just the major chords or the whole chords, not the sharps and the flats. All right. So 10 to 1, they always start you off with just the basic A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I like to throw in the sharps and the flats right off the back because it just makes more sense. All right. Now, how you utilize and determine what you would call a chord is largely on you. Okay. And what I mean by that is, if you are in an A chord and you're in an A chord and you're moving higher or up the scale, then with that progression, because you're going higher, higher, higher up the note scale, technically you would be calling every chord after that in sequence a sharp. All right. So when you come to a chord like this right here, where it says sharp / flat, I just did that just to help people understand that it's a simple matter of sharp or flat, just direction. Okay, so if you're gonna go down higher up that scale, it's simply gonna be called A sharp. All right. Now, if you're gonna go back, going lower on the scale, then it's gonna be called a B flat. Okay, so it's one chord with two different names. That's all it is, basically. All right, so I try to generalize it and I try to simplify it. And as long as they understand that this right here is one chord, sorry, with two different names, you'll be fine. Okay, and that's all you need to know. All right, so, but getting into this, let me erase my blue markers. In fact, let's erase all the reds. Okay, so we'll start from scratch. Now, all you need to know is that there are major chords, minor chords, and sevenths. Now, with the ukulele GPS, because we're talking about chord building and learning how to figure out how to make chords, we're going to start with a real simple position. All right, there's two things you need to remember. All right, you need to focus on your nut. okay, and then the chord. Okay, so let's start with our F chord because it's a very simple chord to really start working with. Okay, now what I want you guys to do, and I know my screen is kind of small because I'm sharing this, but try your best when it comes to looking at it. And I'll try my best to stick it as close to the camera as possible. All right. Now, this is basically what we're replacing. Okay. And this is the simplest form of the ukulele GPS. All right. That I like to practice because you can make every single chord on that scale by simply utilizing your index. Okay, so just for best practices, because we're developing a way of looking at your ukulele and chord building through practice and position. Okay, so here with your nut, all I want you to do is lay your index on the nut. All right, so you're not touching the strings in the first fret, you're just covering the nut. All right, because it sets you up for the mindset of replacing the nut. Okay, right there, you're just holding that bar. Okay, now go ahead, utilizing your middle finger and your ring finger, go ahead and make your F chord. Okay, all right, so now if you take it off, that's your simple F. You're just using two different fingers, right? Now this is the simplest form of the ukulele GPS. It can get a lot more technical, but as long as you understand, the principle is the same. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead with this F. This is our F chord. Now you're gonna go ahead and move it down one fret. All right, so we already made our F. Okay, that's your F chord. Okay, so I just wrote it down on the chart. All right, now I want you to move everything up one fret. All right, so that puts us at where? That just puts us F sharp. Now, remember now, you're going this direction. Therefore, you're going to use a sharp. Okay? And then all you're going to do is you're going to simply repeat the process. All right? So from first fret, go up one more. All of a sudden, that becomes a G chord. Okay? Are you guys following me here so far? Yeah, Elaine, you're right. That's right, because if and so Elaine's comment is, if all the notes get addressed in the beginning, nothing is hard to learn. Later on, because, and she says, I'm glad you introduced all the notes natural, sharp, flat from the start, because in a lot of the books, all right, this is a real thing. It's a real thing. A lot of the books will not include the sharps and flats. Yeah, it'll stay only with the whole notes. Okay, and then later on, as you progress in the system, then they introduce the sharps and the flats. But there's no need to do that later. Get it all done from the get-go. All right, that's ultimately your goal. Okay, so now, anyway, let me go ahead and continue this. Okay, so we did an F sharp. We barred the first fret, and that became an F sharp. All right. Now we started to move it down one more. We barred your second fret, and that became a G. All right. So people might call this second position G, right? And again, people get super technical when it comes to that kind of stuff. It's not my spiel. I just want to make sure that it's practical, it's realistic, and I can do it. All right. I don't want to sound smarter than I am. I just want to be able to, I can do it. That's it. All right. So without removing all the fluff and all that fancy terms, it's simply a G. Okay. Now you can continue this process all the way up. So I'm here at a G. Okay. Now from fret number 2, I move it up one more. That becomes what? That becomes a G sharp. Okay. So this is a very simple way to start building chords. Now, we already covered the fact that there are 3 types of chords. There's a major, a minor, and a seventh. Now, the practice applies everywhere. All right. So what I like to advise people is to use the standard open chords that you know, the ones that you've already done, and start incorporating the bar. All right. Now, I know a lot of people don't like the bar, and that's why we kind of started the other week with the ukulele yoga. All right. How do you build strength in your fingers? How do you do certain things when it comes to positioning? How does your body sit? You know, all these things are very important because it goes into the ability such as the ukulele GPS, where you can actually make barred chords for a longer period of times. You know, it'll allow you to figure out how to do chords. You know what I mean? If you are looking at a chord chart and you don't understand what an F sharp minor is, start with an F minor, especially if you know it. Most of us know what an F minor is, and we move it up. Now, there's a whole different practice to this minor, and I'll share with that in a minute, okay? But for now, I want you guys to practice this, all right? Okay, I'm gonna stop share, all right? Now I'm gonna start calling out chords, all right? Utilizing this, I want you guys to start creating those chords, okay? So we're using that same position, all right? Barring it, yeah, on the nut, and then we're also gonna move it into up and down, yada, 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 okay? Let me change my view real quick so I can see everybody. All right, so that's a simple one. That's the easiest position, okay? Now, it does get harder and harder and harder as you go, okay? But it's really simple. It's not gonna be rocket science once you get the basic principle and function, okay? So now, we already stopped at a G chord, right? Our G chord is bar 2, okay? Now, how many of us memorized the alphabets? Or how many of you guys have the printout? If you have the printout, go ahead, put it right there. But if you don't have the printout, I'll put it back on the screen for you, okay? But first things first, yeah? Remember the position, okay? Remember the position, because we're gonna start at our G, okay? Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back and share, now that I can see all you guys are doing well. Okay. Now, we are at the G, okay? So don't worry about dum 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 dum. Don't worry about this one, okay? Let that go. All right, so we're here on the G. Now, I would like you guys utilizing the alphabets, okay? Here. Now, quick little note, and I don't think I've mentioned that here yet, but the alphabets start back at 0. In other words, it goes right back to the top. So if you're here, you're gonna go all the way back to A and continue, okay? So it just repeats itself, cool? All right, so we got that out of the way. Now go ahead from your G chord. I would like you guys to show me how to make and I'm gonna throw a wrench in here, a B flat. Show me how to make a B flat. You guys can actually put the fret number of the bar in the chat, okay? Because some of us, I can't see you guys, okay? There you go. That's a good practice. There you go. Yee-hee. Very good. Good job, guys. Now, I would like, okay, you guys all got it? Everybody's good? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, Very good. Now I would like you guys to show me, we're now in a B flat, right? Now I would like an F sharp. Okay? F sharp. Very good. I see some F sharps. Beautiful. Now we're at an F sharp. Very good. I would like to see a C. Okay, go ahead and tell me what fret that is in the chat. Boom. Nice. Good. Okay. Very good, guys. So, now this is your C, right? And so we are here and we're on fret 7. Now, from here, I would like to see an F. No. Give me an A flat. Can I get an A flat? And go ahead and put in the chat your frets. Fret of the bar, okay? Nice. Good, guys. That's what I like to see. Good. Very good. Okay. So your bar should be on fret 3 for an A flat. Okay. Simple, yeah? Yeah, so far very simple. So you already can remove the necessity for a chord chart in most cases. Now, this is just the beginning of the ukulele GPS, because you can find yourself in so much other positions and doing so much different other chords. Okay, so now we're gonna start focusing. Let me go ahead and open up. I'm gonna stop the share, and then I'm gonna open up a brand new sheet. Okay, so let me save that. This again will be in the Patreon. Okay, let me stop share, and then I'm gonna share a brand new one. Facebook, how you guys doing? You guys doing okay? You guys got any questions? Let me know. Okay, very good, very good.
Can I ask you something I don't understand? You said A flat and A sharp and B flat were the same. Earlier we were on fret. No?
A flat, and a G sharp is the same.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll show you again. Let me open up a brand new one. And again, that is one of the things that confuse people in the beginning, and it's totally normal, right? So we'll go through that again, because that is the one thing that even I would get hung up on in the beginning, right? How do you determine what is a flat and what is a sharp? Yeah, so we'll cover that again. So that way we can get a better understanding, because once we get it, it's actually very simple. Okay. So when you have your chord chart, okay, let me put up my pen. So I'm just gonna use it real simple in this instance. A, now for this short little thing, just so that we understand what is happening here in this sharp and flat situation. Okay, so this sharp and flat, so I put a circle on the line, yeah, and so that basically just tells us this, like the A and B, it's a chord. Okay, so just remember it is a chord. Okay, now the name of the chord, that's the tricky part. Okay, now if you're gonna go up the ukulele fret, and this is where the GPS comes in, yeah? So now if I'm here at F and I'm going higher up the ukulele fret, then the direction is this way. Okay, so even for over here, down that way, yeah, because I'm going higher. So now if I'm here at my A, this is my A, okay, now I go up this way, that would make this chord, that would name it an A sharp, because I'm going higher up the fret. Okay, now if I am going the opposite direction, so here's my A sharp, B. Okay, I went up. So now I'm here at B. Now if I'm gonna go lower, I'm gonna go back the opposite direction on the ukulele neck, that would make it a B flat. Does that make sense? So you have one chord with two different names. All right, it's just the direction that you're going. Yeah, so just let that one sink in for a little bit, and the more you practice it, you really get you get used to it. Yeah, so it just depends on the direction. Yeah, so if you're going up, then it'll always be a sharp. But if you're going lower on the notes, yeah, then it'll always be a flat. Okay, so that right here, this sharp and flat right here, that is kind of like, what is it? What is it called? You know, it'll be whatever key it is. So if you're here at B, which we just did, yeah. Okay, so A sharp, B. Right? Now, if I'm at B and I'm going back one, then that note will be called a B flat. Okay, but if I'm here at A, and again, now I'm going to the same fret, yeah? So it's just direction. So if I'm here at A and I'm moving up one, then that same chord, exact same chord, will be called A sharp. So it's one chord with two different names. All right, and the thing about it is, it's the direction that you're going. Okay, so, and again, this is just the basics. Once you get this part down, really, once you really understand just the basic function of up and down the fret, it becomes so much easier. All right, now what happens is, if you notice, there isn't a sharp and flat in everywhere. Yeah, only certain ones get sharps and flats. Yeah, hang on, let me. Oh, so Portuguese, there's a clear button right here. I should have just pressed clear. But yeah, so if Chris, you think I would know this, Chris? but
I keep touching my computer screen thinking it's an iPad.
but the basics is there, okay? So when it comes to the minors, now let's start delving into the minors. Oh, wait. To finish that statement, not everywhere has a sharp and a flat, okay? So if you notice, it only falls between the A and the B, C and the D, D and an E, okay? So this chord chart will help you to memorize the sharps and flats, okay? Because it's like alphabets, right? A to Z, it never changes. It's always the same. So with the musical alphabets, this is all we use. Okay, so it should be good practice for us to at least memorize this. Yeah, if you don't want to get any more into theory, which can become mind-boggling at times as well, just learn the alphabets. That's all you need. That's really all you need. Okay, when it comes to chord building, that is definitely all you need. Okay, because you take the basic positions that you already know, and you simply carry a bar. Now let's go ahead and utilize the all famous C chord. Okay, let's try that. All right, we'll get into minors later. All right, maybe I'm going to turn this into a series already. All right, because there's so much to go based on the ukulele GPS. Yeah, and I think if you guys really grab onto this right here, it'll make your playing so much more efficient. Yeah, you won't rely on chord charts. You won't, I mean, chord melodies. I started delving into chord melodies during my chord basic class this past Thursday. Okay, now finding chords within a scale and then starting to, I mean, we just scratched the surface. All right, we haven't gone that far into it yet. It was an introduction to chord melodies. Okay, but let's go with our C chord.
Jonah, can I interrupt for just one moment?
Go for it, bud.
On that G shape where you're using the bar chord, I use that to pick up the 3 minor and the 6 minor from that scale.
Yep.
If you're holding your G, lift your G note off, and there's your 3, your B minor. Put your add your pinky under the 4th fret. There's the 6, the E minor.
That's right.
I'm so used to playing the 3, but I just think, well, I get an extra 2 chords just from that one shape. I pick up those 2 minors. As you're saying, you're trying to get your minors in. There's 2 minors for nothing.
That's right. That's right. But is it all in the same key though? Right? So in chord building, so if you're looking at your G, G minor, and G7, right? In that one key. So those 3 shapes are all you need to know to build every chord that you need to know. Yeah, because you don't need a minor 9, you don't need a flat 9, you don't need a 7th divided by 6. You know, that's all fancy stuff. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I bet you I can teach you, based on the ukulele GPS, the root of every single jazz chord. Because what they might use, and they might call it like a flat 9, 7, 6.4, whatever, which is a beautiful chord. It sounds amazing. At the end of the day, you add a bar, it's just like G minor 7. You know what I mean? You know, here's a very famous chord that we love to use within jazz. Okay. You hear that? Okay, right here. That's a beautiful chord that we like to use in jazz. Well, let me break this chord down for you guys. Okay? Take that away. That becomes an A minor 7. Why is it an A minor 7? Because I moved the bar right up to it. Yeah? If I move it backwards, that is what? That's a G sharp minor 7. Now, if I move it here, I call this a B flat 6, also known as a G minor 7. You understand? So like you can take the most fanciest chords, tear it apart, remove all the fancy names. And they're all correct, by the way. They're not wrong. All right? They're all correct. But you can make them simple. You know what I mean? So, and that's my goal. My goal is to simplify what has been so made very difficult. Yeah? How can you simplify the most technical things? All right? So let's get back to our C, because this is another really, really, really famous one. Okay? Because we love the chord C, don't we? We think, gosh, C is an amazing chord. Let me reposition my camera. Sorry. All right. So now we have our C. Now here's another way to handle this. Okay. Now, go ahead. Put your finger on that bar. Okay. Now I'm going to switch over to my pinky. Okay. Because it's just easier that way. Yeah. Now from the bar to your C chord, you have 2 open frets. Okay, so just good practice. Use your hand on the bar. Okay. Oh, why is my thingy so thick? I don't know. But right there, my thumb is there. So you have, let me change the color. You have 1 fret, 2 fret in between your next chord. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Now go ahead and move that up 1. Okay, so we just did our C. We moved it up 1, so now our bar is on fret 1. We have 2 open frets. There you go. And now our pinky, well, I'm using my pinky, is all of a sudden on fret number 4. So I moved it all up 1 fret. So now we just made a C sharp, okay? Because we're going higher on the scale. So we're gonna call that C sharp. Let me remove that album. So we're gonna call this C sharp, okay? Because we are going higher. Got it? Now, go ahead and move it up 1 more. Okay? So now we're barring 2nd fret, okay? 2 open frets, and my pinky is on A string 5 now. All of a sudden, now I am making a D chord, all right? So C, C sharp, and D. All right? So now you've already made multiple ways to do every single chord in the majors, all right? So in that whole major section. So now we're gonna keep on going. We're gonna keep on adding to our majors, all right? You're gonna keep on practicing putting it into perspective. So let me change my view so I can see all of you on my end, all right? So we left off at the D chord, all right? Now, I would like you guys to show me utilizing this same position, okay? This position changes, all right? Show me an F, and then put inside the chats, what fret will that be? Boom, good job. Chance, what's up? We're teaching what I like to call the ukulele GPS. Yes, it is theory-ish, and it is the most theory I will ever teach. But I mean, you know, just this basic practice, this is what's allowed me to teach myself how to play every instrument that I play, especially if they have frets. I even use this for piano, okay? So there are patterns in all the chords. There are spreading of frets, or in the piano's case, keys, yeah, that can be replicated. Now, if you don't know the name of the chord, you can take a small little practice by, you know, like this, understanding how it moves up and down to come up with a simple name. Does that make sense? So you don't need to have all these fancy +9 divided by 4, carry the 2 kind of chord names, which is not bad. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with it, but it's just, you know, it can become a bit technical. Okay, so I just kind of stay out of that. All right, I don't want to be technical. I just want to be smart enough to be able to play anything and everything I want. Yeah, and that's my goal. Yeah, I want you guys to be functional players that actually can play. Does that make sense? You know, somebody who's not dependent on a teacher. I do believe teaching is important. Now, everybody that does what do you call those, tutorials, I'm not against it. I think tutorials are fantastic, all right? But nothing can replace a good live teacher, all right? You want somebody who can answer questions the best that they possibly can. Now, I am not the best for everybody. Everybody needs, you know, maybe I'm not your guy, and that's fine. But I do encourage people to get a live teacher. Participate in something where there is an interaction. You know, there's something here that happens in my classes that go beyond just learning how to play. It's relationship based, because then you're more likely to get and draw out, especially if you have a good teacher, to draw out of the student the right things that they need. Yeah, someone who is going to take a lesson and remove the things that they don't need and teach the student only what they need to know. Yeah, you know. So those are the pluses. So I do encourage people to get live teachers, you know. And if you find one that you really enjoy, go for it. You know what I mean? If you want to try me out, try me out. It's just like this. All right, it's good fun. I have really lame jokes, but you guys will laugh, I'm sure. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? So it's that type of thing that I think really helps and makes you guys great players, even if you're just here for fun. You know what I mean? Tutorials are fantastic. You know what I mean? But I see it all the time. People have questions. Why this? How that? How does this work? Why this? Right? You know, where do you use this? And that only comes through a real teacher. Okay? Okay, so you guys got the F chord, yeah? Good job, like it so much, boom. Now, utilizing that exact same position, I would like you guys to show me a D flat. A D flat. D flat. Good job, Vivian. Yes, Laurie. Yes. Yep. Yes, Elaine. D flat, same as the C sharp. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, take you guys time with it. All right. So don't worry about it if you don't get it on the first round. We will continue working on this. All right. I'm telling you guys, this is the best information that, I mean, people don't even teach this at workshops. I mean, you guys should learn this. This is the most important thing I could ever share with you guys, honestly. Aside from my mohawk. All right. Okay. And I'm working on some shine over here. I'm trying to make it more shiny every week. Yeah. Just throwing it out there. All right. Very good. Very good. Okay. So is this lesson good so far? You guys liking this? Give me a thumbs up. Okay. Good. 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 Even if you do know it, trust me, this thing can get cray cray. All right, this thing can get so cray cray, but the function is the same. Okay, the function is exactly the same. All right, it repeats itself, just the chord position may change. All right, but just by taking the basics that you already know, such as a C, right, and replacing the bar, okay, with your index, you already can make multiple different chords. You know, does this work for any first position chord and shape? Practically, yeah, with the exception of one or two, only because you're already holding three strings, right? So let's just take, this is a great one. I really am fantastically happy that you brought this up. So I won't do this in a chord sheet, but we will do this later in a class. All right, this is kind of what my chord basic class on Patreon is for. But let me show you guys this. Let me change my view again, because Jed brought up a fantastic point. Does this work for any first position chord and shape? Yes, but sometimes it will be modified. Okay, so let me stop sharing so you guys can see my hand. All right, now here is a great one. Now, as a first position chord, this is an F minor. Okay, you guys see this? Oh, let me change my view over here so Facebook can see it. All right, so G1, E1, okay, and A3. This is a first position chord. This chord is in F minor. All right, now, can I bar this chord? Yes, I can. Okay, so let's go ahead and change my fingers around. All right, so remember, G1, E1, A3. Okay, that's our position. Now, just to teach us how to use the bars, let me change it. Okay, so my thumb is adding a little bit more pressure because now I'm barring, and I'm squeezing my middle finger and my ring finger on the first fret. And my pinky needs to stretch. All right? Now let's go ahead and move that up to fret 1. Boom. Okay, so everything goes up 1 fret, and this makes what? An F sharp minor. Okay, now look at how my fingers are scrunched in here. Okay, now I'm going to take off my index. Now, the only string that is not being held is a C string. So now we can modify our bar to simply be index on C. You guys see that? And then all of a sudden you have what would also be considered a standard first position F sharp minor. Okay? You can actually remove that pinky too, you know, because then if not, it would change from minor to a 79.645 divided by 7 and stuff. All right, like, so you can simplify it. Okay, so this right here is simply this. So again, it's a matter of perspective. How are you looking at it? Okay, and this is where I excel, I believe, as a teacher and as a musician, because I look at it with simpler eyes. Yeah, so if you know that this is too much work, okay, remove the bar and just cover just that 1 string. Yeah, you know, and so as a teacher, as a musician, I like to make life easy. Okay.
Jonah,
Yeah.
I like to take that as the first position of F sharp minor, because then you can use that shape and keep moving it.
Yeah.
So rather than thinking, oh, I've got to start with the actual proper F note or F chord, start with the F sharp as the bass chord and then move that one, and it just goes all the way with an easy shift.
And with that being said, Chris brings up a great point, because honestly, it doesn't matter where you start. You know what I mean? Chris will start somewhere else. I will start somewhere else. But guess what? It's all right. Totally correct. Right? So then it removes the mindset of this is correct and this is how you do it. No way. Chris brought up a fantastic point, because it's doing exactly the same thing. Does that make sense? And so that is also the power of the GPS, because, you know, for somebody who like us don't know, we can at least have a starting point, a reference point. Does that make sense? You know, because Chris, I call him our professor. You know what I mean? Because he's pretty awesome. You know what I mean? And I love talking smart ukulele stuff with him. And some of it, I'm like, wait, what? Say that again, Chris? Like, that's too smart for me even. You know what I mean? Which is fantastic. You know, so I hope this lesson was a good lesson for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Okay. So in the Patreon, all right, you guys can download the PDFs. You guys can utilize it, play with it. All right. I'm probably going to turn this into a series. So next one, I'll probably work on minors. All right. So do me a favor. I'm going to send out an email. No such thing as a dumb question, Mary. What would make you choose a different bar version of chord? It just doesn't matter. You can do it for every chord, honestly. You know what I mean? It's up to you, and there's no right or wrong. Like, different bar version of a chord, for example, it's just a simple fact that you can apply a bar to every open position so far. Does that make sense? It's not so much about what to choose, why you choose, and how to choose. It's a simple fact that you can modify by just utilizing a bar. Yeah, so that you're not limited to that one type of chord in that one key. Yeah, you know, and that's really what it is. It's taking off the blinders of what's right and wrong, like I said, and then be more experimental. You guys probably know way more chords than you realize, but just by implementing one practice, such as utilizing a bar, you're gonna find that your chord library has automatically expanded this huge. Does that make sense? Yeah, and that is powerful, because then all of a sudden you don't need to refer to your chord chart as often. You know, if you don't like a certain chord, try a different position, add a bar to it to find the correct key, use that chart, and all of a sudden you got second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 25th position all at your fingertips, just by the basic knowledge that you already have. And that's the goal. Take what you already have and multiply it, make it bigger. Okay, so that when you guys become super famous musicians, just remember me, right? Like just autographs here and there, you know what I mean? To Jonah, my shortest fan or something like that. All right, okay guys, hey, this was a fantastic session. Do me a favor, invite a friend or two or 25 or 100. All right, because these are free classes, and again, I teach some pretty good stuff for free. People charge a lot of money for this kind of stuff. All right, so go ahead. But if you are in my Patreon, that's where the PDFs and downloads and replays are. But definitely go ahead, invite a lot of people, okay? So that I can share this ukulele GPS with a lot of people. And you know, if they enjoy it, great. I think it's a fantastic thing. Also, if you are in the ukulele union, I'm gonna start making challenges. Well, I don't like calling them challenges. All right, performance pieces. So what I'm starting to do in my Patreon is all my students are learning songs, and then we're gonna start doing play along videos, and I'm gonna post them as one large ukulele choir situation. Okay, so study, practice the videos, submit your play along videos, and have some fun with us. All right, so I love the live teaching feel, so I don't do as much what do you call those tutorials anymore. I rarely do them now. I'd rather talk to you guys and crack a joke and see if it's funny or not. I just enjoy that. Yeah, sometimes it's just lame jokes. They're not good. They're not good at all, guys. So I'm sorry for my lame jokes. Also, I am actually thinking about opening up for my Patreon classes that are much more easier for our Japanese and Asian countries. So I am going to start working on that. So that way it'll be towards the evening for them. A lot of them can't jump in classes because right now it's super early in the morning. Right? Vivian, what time is it where you're at?
4 a.m. to 5 a.m. Now it's 5 a.m.
Oh my gosh. You see that? You see what I mean? And Vivian is jumping in here, and man, I love you, Viv. Whatever you need, you just message me. Just because you showed up, email me. I'll send you the PDFs for free. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying. So I want to get this, and KoAloha wants us to, you know, we want to do this. We want to spread ukulele and share ukulele from the Hawaii perspective, which is not wrong. It's not independent of anything else. It's just one way that we like to do it. And again, this is not just a KoAloha thing. This is for anybody who wants to jump in. Okay, so Vivian, you're the bomb.com. All right, thank you for being here. Good morning. You know, and that's why you don't see a lot of our Japanese family and friends in here as much, or Malaysian Ohana, like Teacher Kelly used to be in here all the time, but it's because of the time. You know what I'm saying? So I am looking at opening up classes that would be much more friendly for that time slot, which would be about 10:30 p.m. my time, which I'm thinking will be between 5 to 8 p.m. Vivian Dem's time. So those are the types of things that I'm looking to do via my Patreon, so that I can include them into a lot of the stuff that I do. But for now, you know, I'm just happy that she's here. Gosh, that's crazy. Because yeah, that's crazy. 4 a.m. I would never. I'm just saying. All right, guys. Hey, I had a blast. Thank you guys for being here. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Okay, God bless you guys. I love you guys so much. On behalf of the KoAloha Ohana, thank you guys for hanging out with us, guys.
Thank you, Jonah.
You guys are welcome. Aloha. Auiho.